Hey everybody, coming to you right now from Rib Mountain State Park, just over by Wausau, and it's a beautiful day. The leaves are just starting to turn a little bit, and it's a beautiful season. So with the beginning of the school year, there's a graphic that usually comes to mind. It's about sort of the emotional trajectory of what things look like for a new teacher. Now, caveat, this is what it's like for most teachers, not just for new ones. It starts out at a high point right here in September, tends to dive down a little bit as we go down and bottom out right around the Christmas break. It starts to even up a little bit and then end up on a different plateau by the end of the school year, but that is just sort of how it works sometimes. Now, while this trajectory is not scientifically based, it's not research where they plotted those points, it sure feels right. Now, the longer you go into teaching, that low doesn't necessarily get as low, but just the various seasons and the texture of the year have its ups and downs. And so I just wanted to share with you a few thoughts that I've had that help me to be able to go through and even that out, and to be able to not just ride the roller coaster, but to be able to get through the year well. So in this quick video, I'd like to offer 3 short thoughts on how to go about doing that. Number 1, focus on relationships. Number 2, focus on growth. And number 3, take care of yourself. So even though Rib Mountain is the highest point in the Wausau area now, thousands of years ago, this was the bottom of the ocean. Basically, the forces of geology compressed many of the rocks, forming what we see back here right now. So after the ocean bed went away, over thousands of years, erosion took its course and wore away much of the softer stone and dirt in the area. So the rock that makes up Rib Mountain itself today, which is the rock that you're seeing behind me, was the hardest stuff around. When erosion started to kick in, the rains came, this didn't wear away because this was the strongest and this was the densest that basically is still here now. So just like this rock is still here millions of years later, what we do to build relationships with our students is the bedrock and the most lasting component of anything that's in education. Now, this time of year of September is we're really trying to pour into them. We're trying to start building that time. But the fact of the matter is, we're going to spend X amount of time with our students regardless of how it plays out, regardless of how we invest. If you put that time in on the front end to build relationships, to be able to see things through their eyes, and to get some grace from their side as they understand where you're coming from, you're going to spend a lot less time on the back end trying to go ahead and play whack-a-mole for things that come up. Now, that's not to say you're still going to be doing work on there, but if you take the time to build that foundation now, it's going to go a lot better easier. Now, one of the cool features of this park, of course, is this tower. Even though Rib Mountain is the biggest area up around here, you need to get up above the trees to really appreciate the whole landscape that's sitting out in front of you. Now, just like it's not the easiest thing to climb this far up in order to get a better view, one of those things about focusing on growth is something that takes a little bit of effort on our part as well. So for me, a lot of it comes down to watching student growth and seeing an impact it had on them is the reason that we're in education. So when things start getting a bit tough, I look for the growth. Just like it took effort to climb this tower, but I have a better view for it. We have to go through the process of looking out for and identifying that growth and taking a step back from the day-to-day existence that we have and sort of say, hey, they actually have come far. Let's see where they're going with it. So if we return to that graphic of the emotional trajectory, notice the part right where it starts to kick back up again. That's right around December. That's right around January. That's not accidental. Basically what happens is as you take a little bit of time away from school, as you go ahead and go on winter break, you recharge, and then things start kicking back up again. Now that's a real thing. One of the things that is invigorating about teaching is that you make a difference, but sometimes it's kind of a danger and a pitfall. You can get your identity and yourself so caught up in the day-to-day of doing that important work that you get out of touch of the stuff that makes you you, that keeps you sane. And so when we're talking about doing wellness and we're talking about doing the things that really help you connect with your identity, like hiking or turning on some music real loud or whatever it may be, that makes a big difference. All right, that's all I got. If you watched this far, thanks for indulging me in my ramblings. As we're heading into the school year, hey, enjoy the ups. Let's also recognize there's going to be some downs. There's some key things we can do to take care of ourselves along the way. You deserve it. Your students deserve it. And hey, let's take care of each other as we're going. You take care.